Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We've made it to Friday, guys. Look at us making it to Friday. So, I tried doing the censorship thingy last night. It was very funny. And the ongoing entertainment value behind making the censorship thing was very funny and wrong, but good. So, I had my monitor, and then I made a censorship screen. And it got pretty close, and we were still kind of working on it, sort of dinking with it a little bit. But I was like, I could just put this on here and it would work. Are you going to work?
I'm going to work.
Okay. Love you.
I love you too.
I'm going to do something like this. And if we select the color as black as the screen, then it doesn't do anything. That didn't do anything either. That almost did the thing. It seems like every time I create the thing, it does it in reverse. Like this worked, but then it didn't work in reverse. So entertained by this, by the way. Okay, so this is reversed J. Good morning, Brent. See, there we go. Actually, works remarkably well. You can kind of see what's going on, but not enough. That's funny. Everybody is saying it's not the greatest episode. I haven't seen it yet, so there's that. I don't know. I mean, they can't always hit, I guess. I mean, the fact that there's a number of episodes where they've actually done really good. So I feel like this is maybe too white. So I'm going to tone it down. There's a call-in. Wow. Again, I haven't seen it yet, so we'll have to see what happens. But a call-in is different. Oh, that didn't go any better, I don't think. I mean, like that went the wrong direction, right? Because we can still see pretty well through there. I am working on, can I put a screen up so that whenever I'm working on boobies here, which has to happen for the remainder of this scene, can I put just a screen on top there that doesn't make people completely freak out and come unglued? Yeah. Yep. Yep. So, oh, I won't turn it off. I keep watching Spock's brain. There is no way, there has never been, well, that's not true. There are a handful of Star Trek episodes that I'm like, and I'm just like, I don't need them to be in the rotation. But like Spock's brain's got its own entertainment value because of just being super cheesy. But like Naked Now is cringe, and Code of Honor, you know, it's like Move Along Home is shaky. If Wishes Were Horses, you know. So it's kind of one of those sort of things. So that didn't make it better, or did it make it better or worse? Let's see. We'll do J1. That's better or worse, I guess. So we want it to continue going in the path of the prophets. I want just enough that you can see that something is happening so that you don't sit there and go, well, I guess there's nothing going on. So yeah, so now you can see that I'm drawing, but it's really impossible to determine. That's good. This is kind of cool because this actually isn't what my monitor is seeing. I put the mask through OBS, so it actually is kind of cool because now I've got the ability to mosaic or demosaic it. And that's pretty cool. I'm digging that. There we go. Now it says censored for streaming sensibilities. I got this, and then I can go click and censor it for streaming sensibilities so that we can work on boobies without people freaking out about boobies. Right? And you can still see that something is occurring, but not enough that it will trigger some freak out because I'm drawing boobs. Well, and butts. Oh yeah, absolutely. This is through OBS, so it's an overlay. So I'm over here on OBS, and I can go clicky and go clicky, and it doesn't change anything on my screen at all, which is awesome because now I can work on this page the way it's supposed to be without the censorship bars. See, I can turn off the censorship bars, and you can tell if the censorship bars have been turned off or turned on, but you can't see. That's awesome. And a little disturbing. Okay, so, okie dokie. Let's get back to work. Censored for streaming. Nope. All right. And like I said, for those of you who are desperately trying to, whoa, don't do that. Desperately trying to see what's going on here. Sometimes it just locks weirdly. That's fine. Do this a different way. Apparently we cannot do this a different way. Gotcha. That's totally fine. I'll be here. Oh, you know what we don't have is music. We don't have creepy background music doing hip hop. From an unknown caller, huh? California. Incoming call from California. What you bet? I'm not messing with that. I'm going to have an Altoid. I love Altoids so much. Yeah. Seriously on the floor. All right. So I'm settling in on the artwork here. Some like that. And reselect it. There we go. That selected all the peoples. No, they didn't need it here, but just in case. There we go. And deselect that. Bring that up to 100%. There we go. So now everybody is good here. I'm feeling some chatter on this that probably needs to be dealt with. Now I'm going to take this. I'm just going to delete up to about here-ish. Select. I'll take the eraser tool. And I'm explaining what I'm doing because you can't see what I'm doing. So all I'm doing here is just erasing to a fade for this scene because I've got the two characters up here and I want to make sure you get to this frame down here. We don't need the maquette for that, so we'll delete the maquette and we'll delete its frame background, leaving it with just the foreground artwork. Nope, we need both. And the reason we need both is, and it's hard to explain because here we are with no screen. Even though there is no that always does that. Control Shift I. It's doing it again. It's really weird. Some of these white backgrounds are locked in one way or another. I'm not sure what that means or why they're locked. But they are. It's a weird one. It's weird and strange. Anyway, so now we can delete you. We don't really need this other background in here in this frame, so we've deleted one of the layers in the frame so that the foreground is solid. And okay. And today is a gray and dreary day with weather. It's super cloudy, 5 degrees Celsius. You know. 92% humidity. It's pretty serious humidity out there, as Mom would say. All right. So what we're doing at this point, and it's hard for you to see, is I am clearing the different frames for things. So each frame, even the ones where we don't have any operating backgrounds. So like in this instance, we have no operating backgrounds. Yeah, okay, so you've got all kinds of stuff going on. And you're leaky. All right, so all of these different frames, even the ones that have only a single character in there, and there's nothing else going on, I don't have the actual backgrounds on, I'm using the background. I might at some point, well, there's no might about it, we're going to put in texture of some sort. So even if I don't use the 3D backgrounds, we're still going to use texture. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting around the characters as they are, and we're going to use these characters, right? And we'll keep, let's see if this is sealed. Oh, he sealed it. That's more than I expected. All right, Control Shift out. Last night I was tired. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not doing the things. So even when we have maquettes that aren't being used, or backgrounds aren't being used, I still want to seal up the scene. Damn it, her hair. And what I'll do is I will show you what I'm talking about by reinstating the censorship bars and then turning off the mosaic. Okay. So we're talking about the difference between this panel and this panel. This panel has a background in it, right? This panel does not. So usually you'd think, well, you don't need to keep the background because we rendered the whole background. It's in here, right? We've got all the background and stuff like that behind it, but we don't need that. But I'm still going to use this because we're going to go in here on the line here. We're going to connect her here because it needs to be connected. I'm still going to use this and still do the entire thing as if the character were removed from the background, right? Control-Shift-I. And I don't know what's going on with these locked layers. They're very weird and they're strangely locked, and it's bothering me. So I can't use them for anything. So I'm going to click there. Then we're just going to delete this. We're going to delete this one, and we're going to keep it there. And that way, when we get to the point where we're dealing with this panel, and in fact, since it's the last panel on this batch, we can go ahead and do this. We'll open up the panels for my backgrounds, and I'll show you what we do. My backgrounds are actual backgrounds that were, I bought a whole bunch of Zipatones while I was in Japan and scanned them in at 600 DPI. So I have these things like this, which is just a leader tone scanned in at 600 dpi, right? So if I take just this tone right here and just select a bit of it, it's already at the right resolution to be in here. So I take it and paste it like this, and you can see I can just use it as a really nice oriented background tone. And it's already aligned, and it's already prim and proper, and it already looks solid. And it's at 600 dpi, so it's already at the same resolution as the page. And this was prior to doing colorizing. We put in the color for everything. We can't do that yet because we have issues. But that's okay, we're working. Right? So we look at panel 4 or page 4. There's a lot of light and dark being played, and then there isn't any light and dark being played here during these scenes, and there really should be. So even with the panel next to it, this panel, right, we should do something similar. We take sort of a darkness of some sort and put it over that. So if I were to take like these alligator skin lines, let's just say as an example, which are also scanned in at 600 dpi. If I were to take this and copy it and bring it over in here, right? We could even do this and then do something like multiply. And that gives the effect that the room is dark, right? Even if I put it at, say, 50%, right? That still gives the feeling that the room is in shadow, in darkness, behind her. This is the way it should be. Because really the only light being emitted in this room right now is from Jen. She's the hologram in the center of the room, and part of the humor in this is this last panel where Jen vanishes, and all of a sudden the room is pitch black, and we're left with just Jen going, "On me." Right? The reason we have to kind of do this is because at some point we have to duplicate all these layers so that we can color grade. Right? All of these layers, which I have done in, really honestly, right? Officer uniforms are this color. We can color in under. Okay. So Chang's hair isn't fully black, right? Neither are her eyes anymore. And once were. But I like them to be almost black, but not quite. Right. And that's how we kind of make this work. And then from here, we go in with a white brush, because some of Chang's hair is going to reflect off of the right there, like so. Just showing highlight right here. And of course, she's going to have her eyes going to have to be like that. Just to give her life. Without the highlights, that's the traditional anime statement for I am under mind control somewhere. problem is that the front pages are now, she's got black hair in that because I didn't change that character design until after I draw on the first 3 pages, which looks like it goes all the way into page 6 before that changes. So there's that. All right. Knowing that that's the case, we can kind of go through and do stuff like this that works. And we could even probably continue to use this alligator skin on layers further down, like this layer. Right? Not quite enough. Now, I don't want to resize, because if I resize this, it's not going to be the correct size. So it's probably better for me to just hit all and copy. There once was a time where I had to worry about that. That time is long since gone. Now, one of the things we also could do is indicate that she's making the realization that Jen is right. In that instance, I have a different deleter that I can use for this, right? And using the backgrounds to indicate an action or a decision or surprise or something like that is not an uncommon thing. And maybe it's a little much to put in a surprise, but we'll put in the surprise to give just an idea of what we're talking about here, right? So these guys are kind of like surprise bubbles. They're actually, these are lights. We don't want lights. Let's do here we go. Expression lines. Okay. And these are the crap, you're probably right lines, right? So if I take these and I do this and go into this frame here and then say paste, we can take that and do this. And with this one, we can scale it, but only a little. Right, but if we do this, you know, almost literally mind blown, right? It's pretty much exactly what we're saying right here. Right, so we can do that, but I feel like that's too dramatic. She's not that dramatic. She's like annoyed and or disturbed or bothered by what we're talking about here. So I need to pick a different background for this. So we're not going to use these expression lines, although we could. We're not going to. And it's because halftone. Right, so I'm going to go through here. I'm going to find something that's like this blood chatter is what I call this one. This is, I don't even know what this is, but I like it. It's a chattery pattern of some sort. Paste that in. Right? This is a much better one. It kind of implies speed a little bit, but this side of it here, it actually just kind of looks more like just, like she's thinking levels of, because it's somewhere between, I'm really pondering this and I really hate you. Right? So that's somewhere in between. We can delete. Well, we don't need to delete that one, but we can. And because I've gotten rid of everything else, I can delete that one. And this is now a complete frame. So let's go on ahead and duplicate the layer and take this guy and rasterize him. And that way we can select that and just on this copy layer, and go ahead. Ooh, her hair's all screwed up. Fine. And bold. Where's the leak? Let's see the leak. It must be down here somewhere. Right there. Right. It's me being annoyed by just trying to keep the shine reflective of, you think about who it's bouncing off of. Okay. All right. So we'll move to this last panel over here. Stop being a pest. Stop being a pest. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to pull up something that looks maybe depressed. Not depressed, but resigned. In this instance, I feel like a gradient is good. And showing a little bit of a, yeah, right. So we've got patterns we could use, but I've got this non-pattern gradient that looks like this. I really like this one. This one's one of my favorites. All right, I'm going to need to turn it upside down. But, by the way, if I ever get back to Japan, I'm getting many more of these critters because they have been the most useful things that I have ever used. I've used them in every comic that I have done for years. I've used them, and they're phenomenally useful. And I will happily get into a deleter screen exchange with people if folks want to scan in deleter screens in their entirety with the headers and everything on it. This is another one that, because it's not a pattern, I can resize it. But if anyone were to get into a deleter screen exchange with me, I would so be into that plan. I'll give you all of my deleter screens scanned in at 600 dpi with the headers and their numbers. If somebody is willing to do the same thing, because then this is the most useful thing with deleter screens, and I know that we can use a lot of these patterns. And I hear you. Black cat. All right, moving forward on this one, I'm going to do the same thing. So I always duplicate the layer and put it under anyway, even when I'm like, right? So let's go ahead and, it's leaking. Let's look at this. So we've already got a black pen, which is good because I kind of want to actually bring this down further, like so. I feel like that's really where we're going on this one. Okay, where's it leaking today? This is one of those. Same thing in here. We're just getting rid of this line. I'll come back in a minute with rougher tools. Namely that one. Let's come back through here like so. I know Cat wants us to use she wants us to, they want us to use the what's the tools? The vector tools, and they are really cool. But I also feel like I'm doing fine pressure sensitivity and going back over lines that I want to be darker, and they don't come across as horrible to me. Right, and all I've got now is like a mess. And I'm not happy with the way this picture is looking. And I'm going to end up with it going in raster anyway. And I just can't control the vector side of it. It's like, how is that vector side helping me at all? It's not. It's not helping. Right, so. It's just not. See, I knew you were somewhere. Yeah, you're a goofball. That's it. I'm trying to make her eyes fit, going the right direction. There we go. And that makes it so that they fit together nicely. Right? And looking at that now from this outside point in, you can see how we're getting to the point now where the page has a good symmetry to it. And it's got gradient fill going for each one of those. It's also interesting how adding in that background colorization gives it the serious feel of a manga, right? This upward panel here also is missing its text file. And it's not centered, which is really weird. All right, I'm feeling really good about this particular page. I feel like we still have to color code some of these things, but that's not that big. What we'll do is we'll duplicate this layer, do the things, put that under there. Under where? Okay. But drawing naked people, probably not a good idea to make underwear jokes. Other thing we should do is make sure this is desaturated completely down. Did I decide that she has no coloration? I see her having no coloration in any other panels. I feel like this is one of those I'm going to have to come back and colorize the entire thing because she's not in color at all. Because she is wearing a dress uniform. Which means she should at least be this color, right? It should be the least of what's going on with her. Because that uniform is still dark blue. This is the field dress uniform. It's not mess dress. It's not like, or it is mess dress, I guess. It's your formal uniform for primary functions. But it's not the formal like a dress uniform would be for, say, a thing. This is the dress uniform because I'm going to meet my former CO, and I actually kind of like the dichotomy that the former CO is not wearing a stitch of clothing through this entire thing, and our previous. It's a sort of a disregard a little bit for the formality of this, which is kind of the way that Chang sees things at the moment. She is sort of being dismissive about formality. Non-uncommon Chang maneuver here. Chang is not ecstatic about formality. She hasn't been standing on formality in a while. So, it's part of this scene, the reason why Chang is where Chang is and doing what Chang is doing. Oh, that was nice and tie off everything, so I didn't have to actually work so darn hard to do this. All right. And one of the things I'm doing is, in a close-up also, one of the tricks that I'm playing here is when I'm talking about Chang, I'm never using a static background. These are all messy and dotted. But whenever I put a background graphic behind Jen, I'm making sure that it's a nice, even, balanced backdrop. And the reason behind that is because Jen is prim and proper. Everything she's doing is very straight up. She's in a dress uniform. She's saying goodbye to her commanding officer. She's doing all the things because that's the character. She's supposed to be that way. Whereas Chang is a mess. And so I'm intentionally putting messy backgrounds behind Chang. So the backgrounds behind these two characters give and belie the feeling behind the two characters that I've got a very rigid character who is Jen. She's very rigid and straight. And Chang is a disaster area. And so everything that I'm doing with Chang is to indicate how much of a disaster area she is. She's not putting on any clothes, much less a uniform of any sort. Whereas Jen has a dress uniform on, right? Like she's leveled up, not just her standard flight uniform, but a dress uniform. And moreover, Jen is trying in this entire scene to say, hey, dude, you're actually not like a bad person. Stop doing that. So, what's going on? That's twice you come over here. I don't know why you're not getting stretches. I know. If you want stretches, just come here. And I will give you stretches. Totally about the stretching thing. I know, but you've had like a weird morning this morning. It's because you've been strange. I'm not sure why you've been so strange. I would happily give you stretches if you just came over here and visited. Okay? You do stretches, I'll sit you here, and we can have scritchy time. I will scritch you. George needs scritchy time. He's all purry now. All right. We're going to have to do the same thing down here with her on the same token. But again, I really want to make sure, no matter what we do, we make this a rigid background. So this is not a good background for her. Yep. Kind of running slow today. Don't chew on wires. No, don't chew on wires. So I'm looking around for a good solid background that will work for her. This one might. This one right here. This one would even work to some degree. But I feel like this one's probably, we'll give this one a shot. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? We'll copy it in. And we'll go, right? So we'll make sure we're on her background layer. Paste. Problem that I've got, of course, If you want scritches, you've got to come over here for the scritches. And this one is still in its original color. So you can kind of, we're going to have to actually go through here, tonal correction, and take this hue, saturation, and illumination and just desaturate it. There we go. Just took the saturation out. Okay. Now, if I were to take a level correction on this one, I can bring some of that color down, make it darker, just to make it feel a little darker. And again, everything's still, even if it's, even if we're not talking about that, the fact that the two types are different, you can still feel it, right? We look at this page and we have a very rigid character versus a whole bunch of chaos. So, you know how it goes, love chaos. Vital. Okay. So I want to call this page ready. The only thing I really kind of want to talk about is panel 1. I feel like could be beneficial to do some kind of maybe background coloring of some sort. So we're going to talk a little bit about the idea of putting in a gray grid of some sort. So I'm going to put in a new layer right here into the gradient. And we've got it set for that. I think if we were to make it go from a circle of some sort, maybe have something like that, right? To indicate that she's glowing, right? Take it and multiply it like so. Right, and that gives the effect that she's glowing to some degree. I kind of like that. I think I really want to do differently on that one, but that's where we're headed. Right, and that really does give the feel that she's glowing, because she's illuminating the room. But maybe I will try going this way with her and the glow maybe more like so. Now we're still way too, we need it to be balanced more in a different direction. So that's all right. I'll do more like that. There we go. And that way, you don't have to worry about it as much. You know what I mean? What I am going to do on this one is I'm going to add a new raster layer. We're going to do a trick. Ready for a trick, guys? A trick. Here we go. This is our cool trick for the day. You take this guy. go up here and we say filter blur. I take a Gaussian blur. The strength quite a ways. So, like that. And we take you and put you back up to normal. We merge you two together. And then we say multiply. Right? And then that trick then just took and gave us blurred edges around the edge here, right? So that the panel is blurred. It doesn't go past the bottom of the panel to the bottom of this page. So that page looks just fine. And that is how we fix that page, right? And I can adjust now that I've done this, I really feel like this gradient isn't quite pulling it. And I kind of do feel like that. And I can take this and then go into level correction in this. And I can bring it up, right? And just unbalance it to one side. I really kind of want to do. I like that better. It's unbalanced more, showing more of her glowing and less of Chang being. So I'm going to leave Chang as Chang is, but there is one other thing I don't want to do. Chang's coffee cup is part of the foreground. So we're going to want to go ahead and pull that out of here. So I'm going to take the white pen and just go in and just go do this. And all we're doing is just clearing her coffee cup so that it's in the foreground. That's it. Chang's holding that coffee cup and putting it down. And mostly because of the way, and this is going to be so bizarre, and I'm so sorry, guys, but I'm looking at her pose like this here, and as she's standing like this, without being able to see from the waist down, it kind of looks like she's peeing. So I want to make sure it's clear she's putting her cup down so that we don't get kind of a misunderstanding of what's happening in this scene. Because that she's arched over because she's tired and hung over. Literally, her body is hanging like this forward. She's put her hand up to brace against the wall, and then she's putting her coffee cup down. She's hung over, so her frame is tilted forward, which also kind of is what we look like when we're trying to pee. So I want to make sure that that cup is clear, so that it's clear what she's doing. She's just putting her coffee cup down. But this page is now done. And so we will first, I'll put up my mosaic. Sorry, guys, but I don't want to save it with the censorship bars. In fact, legitimately, I want to now remove the censorship bars, so the censorship bars are actually deleted. And then we'll save this page. Okay. So we're now clear on page 8. I'm afraid page 5 is not straightened out. Page 5 doesn't need to be straightened out. Page 5 is chaos. So I will put page 5. So I put guidance bars on page 5, and I don't think I need them. I'm not sure. I feel like this is a page where I can get in here and just fix some pieces. So one of the things I'm a little worried about is the text looks. I'm not sure what the text is doing. Okay, I'm going to. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this one, guys. I just totally ran off the rails there just a second ago. I don't even know what I'm doing. It does make me think. Perhaps I ought to do my jobs. Okay. I feel like in this instance we have these side stories, and I'm not sure but what some of these aren't already set up a clip, and I just have them in the weirdest places. So we're going to try to load. Yeah, I did all the pages in. Looks like 4. Yeah, 4 has got a clip studio page. Okay, so page 4 has a clip studio page to it, which has panels. It'd be so much easier to deal with than the existing clip studio page. Or if I just move it. So something real quick. All right. I wonder if I can take existing panels and move them. Like all these panels exist. Can I copy them? Right, and then just bring them over here, paste them. What would happen? That. It worked, guys. I can't show you because naked, but it worked. All the things transferred over. It's kind of cool. So I did this page in Clip Studio prior. Dust and stuff. So but this all worked. Here to take all of this. There we go. It's actually pretty cool, and it's a shame you can't see it, but that's all right. This page is a mess. And legitimately could have, I was going to have to rebuild the page, and now I don't have to, which is really, really nice. So I'm using up a lot of processor to make this work. However, I'm going to let it think a lot. You can kind of see it over there thinking. All right. Now everything is where it's supposed to be. Excellent. That means we can actually take this page, and it doesn't need gapping because it's a weird page anyway, but we've got everything under control now. So these need to be 6 point. We can check them to see if they're 6 point, and they're not. All different sizes. There. which is good because the original page, a little crowded. I mean, legitimately just a little crowded. So going through here and actually kind of patching up some of these things is not bad. I could stand to have, new balloons put in and stuff like that. Kind of clear the balloons on this. And we can clear this panel, which is good. Ooh, look at us being successful here. All right. Yeah, sadly, this still doesn't look any. I don't know. Yeah. It's a good one. We need just a little bit more room on each side. There we go. You're just not going to work with me on this one. Oh, that's all right. It's fine. I'll go back and fix it later. You can't tell what I'm doing, I know. This is nice to get in here and kind of fix these things. Nope. I know it's not that exciting, guys. I promise you that I wish there was something I could do, but there isn't. We decided the borders were 12 point. Let's check those borders. Check those borders. Not, a major change, but enough that it looks different. And it's enough that it would look inconsistent. We don't all know or see when something is radically different, but we can feel it sometimes. So we'll go in and we'll know that something got weird on this page, but we're not sure what that something is. It's all right. You don't have to worry about it, right? It's cool, bro. Meetings are meetings. Right, so I'm not terribly worried, but I do think all of our panels got screwed up. And I'm going to mess with the panels here in a second, just to get them all squared away. Because they do seem to be out of order. Again, panel 1 and panel 2 has to be on top of panel 1. But then there's no reason for these panels to be out of order. I mean, they're out of order because of the way that the nature of the beast. Like they don't need to be. But they should be organized in a way of which they're in their order, the order of which they should be read, so that they pile on top of one another in the correct manner of things. There we go. Now I'll put in, for the benefit of being able to show people what this is, we'll put in the censorship panel. And that'll allow me to black out the parts that are offensive to people. Who knew? Right? Okay, now we're blacked out, so we can switch back to normal printer mode. This is the page that I'm working on. Right, so prior to this one, the original version of this was a little different, and I just copied and pasted it in, but now I have made it uniform, so everything now matches where it was, or matches the rest of the comic. We've, made the text the right size. I've unified up the borders on the panels, things like that. All of that's very important. And moving right along through the scene, we also kind of need to look at, like, this going away party part. What if I go away party? That actually can be in its panel now. It doesn't need to be, it can be actually in that panel, or it should be. And then, I don't remember. That also belongs in its own panel. And we're just trying to kind of get everything kind of sorted in the correct spot. So when we originally did this was a test, a proof of concept. So we were working on these pages as just sort of a proof that the characters could exist, a proof that they looked good, a proof that they were, that kind of thing. Now we're going back and saying this scene actually happened, it's part of the story, it's part of the arc, and it occurred. In doing so, we kind of have to, welcome back. We kind of have to go back and fix some of the little parts that I messed up. Not messed up, didn't know yet. So, while you were in your meeting, right, I went ahead and found the original artwork for page 5, which actually has a Clip Studio Paint file. So rather than load the artwork back in, which is what we did before, I went ahead and I love Altoids. I have a bad case of Altoids, guys. Sorry. It's horrible. Anyway, let's see, this is what I want to do. Okay, I can do that without moving that frame over, like so. I want to do this. That's what I'm actually after, because I can move this frame here and get more space out of it. In this instance, there we go. I really want this frame pushed out of left here so that we're entering into this page from the entry point from the left. But I don't need anything in there. But what we can do is take these guys and move them over. This is called a text safe, this line right here. So we want to take this line and we cannot put our text further than that line, right? So here's our text safe. But what I can do is move these dialog boxes over. So they are as far over, and I'm breaking out of here a little because we are crazy on this page. Everything on this page is somewhat insane. So So anyway, we should probably do some other parts of this story, because now with more space in this top panel, we can see that that we're moving around here. Like things are occurring. She's beeping on a screen, right? So the screen exists, and that background exists. We should move it. We can move it over so it becomes clear that she's doing a thing now, right? Which is something that we didn't have clear on this panel before. So, always a plus when doing stuff like that. That gives us more room. This panel didn't actually, in fact, it was so worked that even I had forgotten she was booping on the house control panels here. So what we need now to do is switch to R, because I use that for my sound effects. Right? I'll drop that down. 6 point as well. So this is just indicating that she's going beep, 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 right? Then we need I, which is italic. Okay. And the steam now does something, right? Whereas before, she was just saying things. Right now, you can see that she's going beep, 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 and the coffee maker goes and fills up. We have an action and a response, which is great, and we need it. The other thing we can do now is, now that we've done this, we can go into the frame, and this is that frame, so I'm going to worry about that at this point. I don't know, maybe we could do something with this, but we'll worry about it later. As we were doing in the previous page, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. I'm going to take this panel here, which is that big panel, and we're going to go in, we're going to put in a gradient behind here. On this portion of it, we're going to add a new layer, and we'll put a white to black gradient, or white to gray gradient, which I think we're going to use gray. And in this instance, I can do just no, I can't actually. I'm going to have to do this way. Right? And this mid-gray then gives her a highlight. She pops out a little bit more, but also highlights what's going on in that panel. You can see now totally what she's doing, right? Even from far away, she'd be eating something. And what we're actually going to do with this is, first things first, we're going to do the tonal correction, and level correct. I'm just going to make it lighter this way, darker this way. So I actually really kind of want it unbalanced. I like it being unbalanced like this. Right? Okay. We're actually going to hit normal on this. We're going to duplicate this layer. And move this over to here. That will give us just a little bit of a screen on this now. Overlay. We're going to figure out where is the thing. Where is the thing? Okay. Back to my favorite K-pop group, which is Dreamcatcher. Because I want the screen to be glowing a little bit too, right? We got a little bit going on here, so that's what we're doing here. Just gonna merge those two together, and then I can hit multiply. And she's glowing, and the screen is glowing. So I can also take and do this trick. Watch me do this trick. Watch me screw this trick up. Watch me do. Hey, watch this. Okay, I'm easily entertained. You take tonal correction, we're going to say reverse gradient. Reverse gradient turns it inverted. So whatever colors it was, it's reversed. So then we're going to take this guy, we're going to hit tonal correction, we're going to hit that one. We're going to hit tonal correction, tonal correction. We're going to say level correction, right? And that's going to bring all the white as much out as possible. Okay. Then we're going to come up here. We're going to say blur. We're going to hit a Gaussian blur. The Gaussian blur is going to make all the lines blurry. Right? Like that. So, then if we take this guy, instead of having it multiply, switch its mode to overlay, then that Gaussian blur makes everything glow a little bit. Right? Which we can get better if we get the screen. Right? Screen actually makes it a little too ridiculous. So what I might do is a glow dodge, which looks like that. Right? And the glow dodge then literally makes any black lines underneath it solid, but the screen pieces look like they're glowing to some degree, which is exactly what we want, right? They should look like she brought up the house control panel and she just sits there and she goes, okay, well, I'm going to make you some coffee. And the panel comes up. And then the coffee inside its cup. We make this kind of adorable and have it just it's a coffee maker, right? That means we all know that coffee maker is global. That's what they do. And that has added to the scene. Now it feels more like Jen is actually making coffee instead of being weird. All right. So that's who we have. We've got to duplicate this layer and make this layer and multiply there. And then we say And this, and this, and this, and this, because they've got connectors. One thing I'm noticing is a lack of this other parts of this particular thing. So that panel is now complete and reads better. That's nice, because it wasn't reading so well before. Oh man, lots of stretching going on. I also kind of feel like I need one more, like, hey, right? She's kind of, but. Right, so she's still kind of doing it. But wait, whoa, leave. Okay. So in this panel, like I said before, we don't really need at this point in time the original character pod underneath it. But what we do need to do is make sure she's locked in and sealed, right, and by herself, which she is. Okay, good. That means this is easy. Take that, and open and grab just some textures somewhere. From our shared resources file, from our textures file. As I said before, we don't use anything straight for Chang at this point. She's very confused and messed up in the head at the moment, so we're not going to use any kind of straight backgrounds for her. Right? It does look like, though, she doesn't have a white background. Right? So we're going to do this. I'm going to go through here. We just have to select here. Uh-oh, we got holes. I see. Go onto this layer, patch the hole. So, select. Oh. Here, we add a layer. Hit white, Control Shift I. That inverts our panel. Right? That we hit deselect, and we're going to have to go back through here again and do a couple of things. Not the least of which is catch inside her hair here, which is a disaster area and a mess and very difficult to keep. That's part 2. right? And though this is cool, I really think this works better on this panel. So I'm going to take this entire thing over here and to all cut, paste, nope, see, cut, and go to this panel. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go here, and say paste. We're going to have to do something about our coffee cup, but that's okay. We'll get there. Okay. Well, it will come back on. Here. This. We do begin the correct layer. Deselect. We'll take the eraser tool. And just to make sure that there's no part of coffee cup and there is, and this too. Clear this part of the coffee cup as well. So, away. Normal. Reasons. That's also not cleared on the previous tab either. Should be. A couple more things where I'm just fixing some of the weird out here. But apparently this is a stray hair. That, and so is this. And those are highlights, so I don't delete that. All right. That panel is now complete. Right. And you can see when we get the colors back to normal how much nicer that looks. Yep, she can't do much without her coffee. But really, she runs on coffee. She has way too much blood in her coffee stream at this point in time. So, we're now at 11 o'clock. I like this page. It is good. We still have some work to do on it, but that's all right. But we are clear now at 11 o'clock. So, hey, Brent, did you see my mosaic cover the streaming and it works? Yeah, you did, because you were talking about whether it's this way on my master file, and it isn't. It's not. The monitor over here changes not at all. This is all through OBS. But I love it because even though I'm irritated that I can't broadcast it, it does mean that I can actually continue to work on stuff. Now, where I couldn't before, I had to switch to a view of me just sitting here kind of all the time. That was kind of weird. Made me think it was a little strange. while you're watching. You're like, kind of weird. This is better. So, it's cute. And that's the way it goes. I wonder if I could put there's like a, you're watching, no worries. Yeah, it works. So, okay, well, I'm going to go eat lunch. I've got another Salisbury steak I can eat. So, because I made Salisbury steak. Okay. That is the last my wife has eaten the Salisbury steak. And then maybe what I will do is spend the rest of the day playing Sims. Yep, no boobies. Well, I mean, like, legitimately, you get to see all the boobies later because you're going to buy a copy of this, so there's that. So, it will be a thing. Like I said, patrons, the Patreon level will be able to also see it, so that's that. Goes there as well. So, posting my Patreon when we do this. So that's the thing. But one of the things we need to do right now, of course, is just get her in the colors. Yeah, well, I'm kind of getting burned out, so I'm into the idea of Sims. I'm just going to play Sims for a while, and that will be good. I will make my little, weird family going ahead, and now I actually have the Mount Korambi DLC, which is the little Japanese ski village. So we're going to see who goes out skiing and who doesn't. So it'll be a thing. Somebody might go skiing. It could happen. I'm going to go see if somebody goes skiing. Meantime, I'll see you guys on Sunday night because it's weekend time. So now it's time for us to go to the weekend. And I will see you later, although Anne may be here sometime during the weekend. Who knows? In the meantime, keep your eyes on the stars.